Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, I've got a wonderful show for you. I've got entertainment and sports, baby. It's just me. I'm Colton Robertson. Today, Joseph is out sick, unfortunately, but the show must go on. Therefore, I'm solo dolo coro. Atypical indeed, but we must proceed. So, I've got a fun show for you. Entertainment-wise, we've got, it was a big week, which is why I'm opting to record this by myself without Joe. I could have held on, I could have waited for next week, but it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff here. We got a lot of good trailers. We got some news about the Lantern series. We got some more casting news, which is a lot of fun. We got some new features coming up, some features that were coming up that are canceled. I've got a couple reviews for you, including The Substance and His Three Daughters, and Agatha All Along, Episode 3 this week. And then in sports, I will be doing a little bit of a Week 3 of the NFL recap and picks for Week 4. So I can take us on in. And, so first up, the trailers. We got a lot. We got a lot. I'm going to start with what was the highlight for me, which was Sinners, the new Ryan Coogler film starring Michael B. Jordan. Supernatural gothic horror set in Jim Crow era South. I don't know, man. I'm in. This looks fucking awesome. Ryan Coogler is a fantastic director. I'm excited to see him outside of Marvel again. Not to say that his work within Marvel was less than. Specifically, I really enjoy Black Panther a great deal. But in terms of quality, Wakanda Forever was kind of, it felt like something of a miracle within the Marvel Studio system. In terms of just the way it looked really, really good. So I'm excited to see him outside of the MCU again. It's been a little bit, and I'm excited to see him back. The Creed is just incredible. I love that movie. Fruitvale Station is one of the most devastating movies I've ever watched in my life. So I know Coogler's got it in him, and I'm excited for him to take a huge fucking swing like this. It looks so good. And Michael B. Jordan, I've waffled on him a bit over the years. I don't know how much I love him. I don't know how much I hate him. But here's the thing. When he's in a movie, I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying? And I've never hated him. That's the wrong word to use. But I have questioned how great of an actor he is. But regardless, when he's in something, I'll watch it. I think he's an entertaining actor. He's fun to watch. He's good to look at. And when he's being directed by Ryan Coogler specifically, look at Black Panther, look at Creed. He's at the top of his game, So I'm excited. I'm excited for Sinners. That movie looks like it's going to be fucking awesome. Let's see. Next up, since I was talking Marvel Studios, I can talk about the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts officially got a trailer release. Now, it looks all right. It looks all right. It doesn't look like anything that's particularly special. It looks like a rare MCU film that has a distinctive identity immediately, which is endearing. It's something that I look forward to seeing. It's shot by the same cinematographer that did The Green Knight, which is a movie I absolutely love, directed by David Lowery, starring Dev Patel. It looks like Sebastian Stan's back as the Winter Soldier in a meaningful way. It is feeling like he's got his juice back. Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh, she's great. David Harbour's great. Wyatt Russell's great. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is great. So, there's a lot of people on this cast that I quite enjoy. And it's a similar situation to Agatha All Along, where you know, I've kind of got to remind myself that while I've kind of soured on the MCU as a whole, there's still characters I like, there's still actors I like, and, you know, ultimately that's what's got to drive me now, as far as what's going to get me to sit my ass down in the theater. And this one did just enough. I think I will almost certainly catch this in a cinema, if for nothing else for that cast. The cast looks good, and the movie doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad by any means. You know, I think it's got fun ideas, but still very, very funny to be doing a movie called The Thunderbolts without Thunderbolt Ross in it. You know, that's kind of, you know, where it gets its name. But, you know, neither here nor there on that. I do love Julia Louis-Dreyfus, though, so I'm a stick by her no matter what. So, yeah, we got The Thunderbolts. Next up, let's go with The Last of Us Season 2. Got a trailer. Now, we covered The Last of Us in 3-episode chunks during Season 1. We covered 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9. And, man, I remember reading a lot of what people thought about Season 1. A lot of people. I follow a lot of people on Twitter who played the video game, which I've seen paints the show in a really negative light. Apparently, it's not doing the game quite the justice it deserves, and frankly, you know, I that's to be expected. It's a 1-to-1 adaptation. How much can you really expect from a 1-to-1 adaptation of a video game, which gets the chance to do stuff that TV just, can't? Now, being deprived of that video game, I think that The Last of Us Season 1 was exceedingly good, and I think that this trailer got me quite excited. I've seen people say that the story for The Last of Us 2 is every bit as good as 1, but they don't think it'll work because Bella Ramsey doesn't look any older. They look the exact same, and hey, I don't know. I know that Bella Ramsey's a pretty decent actor. More than decent. They're super good in Season 1. You know, I thought that they shined on more than one occasion. And I like Pedro Pascal. I understand people not thinking that he brings the same vibe as a video game Joel. Even that I can tell from clips and stuff. I can perceive that. But I don't know. I think that it's good for adaptations to kind of take their liberties where they can, especially in a 1-to-1 adaptation where everything's going to be super predictable. I think it's all right to kind of evolve things a little bit for a different medium. Of course, I haven't played the video game, so, you know, if you have played the video game and you're like, no, you're a fucking idiot, I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. I liked The Last of Us Season 1. Season 2's got Jeffrey Wright in it, so, and Catherine O'Hara, so I'm there. Those are two of my favorites. I love Jeffrey Wright and Catherine O'Hara, so, like, yeah. That's a no-brainer. Let's see. Last trailer that I saw was From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, which, if that is the actual title of this film, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. That's fucking hysterical. No, I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be Ballerina, and From the World of John Wick is just being used for marketing and promotional material. But I thought that this looked surprisingly good. It's not straying away from the identity of John Wick by any means. It's definitely ripping Chad Stahelski. It's definitely ripping the 4 John Wick movies, which when you are adding to the franchise, you know, why not? But yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything incredibly singular. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more of the same, but I am excited. You know, I love the John Wick movies, so why would I complain about more of the same? Ana de Armas, I think, is a really, really talented actress, and I'm excited to see her turn as an action hero. We got Ian McShane back. Lance Riddick makes an appearance in the trailer, and it's nice to see him again. It's just one of those passings that never feels real. And then, obviously, this has been long publicized, and they put him in the trailer. Keanu Reeves will be in it as John Wick, which is a real major selling point, you know. I saw somebody tweet, a really, really great Twitter person, I believe it was Brandon Strasberg, he said, them making more John Wick movies without John Wick, or without Keanu Reeves, really undersells what the major selling point is for us, which is that we like Keanu Reeves, which is very, very true. But I feel like that's kind of underselling Ana de Armas. I think that a lot of people like Ana de Armas. Obviously, she's not Keanu Reeves in terms of fame, in terms of presence, but a lot of people like her, and I think that she's very endearing. And if people who do like Keanu Reeves go to see this movie, and it's the first time they interact with Ana de Armas, I think it could be a really big deal for her. And I mean, like, she's already there, man. She's already making some huge movies. She's been the star of a lot of great stuff, a lot of big stuff. So it's not like she needs a career boost by any means. But who knows? Maybe this launches her into another place. I don't think it will. You know, I think that this is going to be a relatively poor performing movie at the box office. Not that matters to me. I don't give a fuck. I like John Wick, and I'm excited to watch a movie in that world, especially if it adheres to Chad Stahelski's vision for it and Keanu Reeves' vision for it, with him being in it and stuff. That's kind of the issue I took with the Continental series. I never watched it because all of them were like, yeah, we have no idea what that is. We're not involved with that at all. Sorry, sip of coffee. It looks fun, though, and it looks good. I'm excited to see her as a part of the Ruskarova, kind of dive into the ballerina side of things there, the dancer side of the assassin training. It's going to be cool. I'm excited. You know, I can't lie. I am excited. So, yeah, those are the trailers we got this week. Sinners, Thunderbolts, The Last of Us Season 2, and Ballerina. So, with that, I can move on to some of the casting news we got, which was aplenty. We'll start with a high. We'll start with a good thing, and we'll kind of sandwich the one that I'm questionable about. We've been talking a lot about the casting for Hal Jordan in the Lantern series. You know, Josh Brolin was offered it. Matthew McConaughey and Ewan McGregor were apparently runners-up. They were kind of in the running, but none of them ended up getting the role, and it ended up going to Kyle Chandler, which I know for the uninitiated will go, well, when you were looking at Josh Brolin and Matthew McConaughey and Ewan McGregor, isn't Kyle Chandler kind of a downgrade? My answer to that would be fuck no. Kyle Chandler is a fantastic character actor, and moreover, he is kind of perfect for Hal Jordan. I'm astonished that this fan cast hadn't occurred to me. He is... I love that actor, and I love what I think he could bring to this role, especially in like the way they're describing it, the True Detective sort of vibe that it's going to bring. I think Kyle Chandler is going to be fucking perfect for that. I love that actor. I mean, Bloodline on Netflix, Friday Night Lights for years, The Wolf of Wall Street. He is so fucking good in The Wolf of Wall Street. I think that this dude is one of the better casting choices that's been announced for James Gunn's DCU. David Cornsweet seems to be a really, really good choice. Rachel Brosnan as Lois Lane seems to be a really good choice. And I'm trying to remember some more off the top of my head, but they're kind of escaping me. But those three, as far as I'm concerned right now, kind of stand above the pack. If you were to ask me, I think that this is exciting stuff. And Hal Jordan being Kyle Chandler is a good step in the right direction. Now I'm just excited to see who Jon Stewart is. You know, I've got some fan casts. I do. Coming off the success of Rebel Ridge, I'm hoping Aaron Pierre might be able to bag this role as Jon Stewart. I think that would be super cool. I love Aaron Pierre, and I think that he brings... he brings star power, even though he's not a star, and I think that speaks volumes to the presence he possesses when he's on screen, because he is just so damn good. So I think that if I could just pick an actor who could do that, I would go Aaron Pierre. I would love to see him in that role. But so Kyle Chandler will star as Hal Jordan in the Lantern series, and I'm very, very excited for that. But now we'll sandwich. The last thing I'll talk about is another one that I'm really, really excited about. This one, okay. Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi will star in Emerald Fennel's Wuthering Heights adaptation. I love Margot Robbie, and frankly, I like Jacob Elordi a great deal. However, I've never read Wuthering Heights, but I know a lot of people who have, and I've been seeing this take on Twitter, and feels very fair to say, the character Jacob Elordi will be playing experiences a great deal of racism and is ousted and is an other for being Romani. And this just continues a fucking horrendous trend in Hollywood where they refuse to cast Romani actors in Romani roles. I mean, going back to Wanda Maximoff with Elizabeth Olsen, who I generally quite enjoy, but it's not the point, you know. Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, who I quite enjoy, but that's a shit casting decision because of the very same thing happening here with Jacob Elordi. Good actor. That's a white man, you know, like that is a white man. He never faced racism, you know. I don't know. It's just, it's a really questionable decision, and from a really questionable director, writer-director, that is. I'm not a huge fan of Emerald Fennel. Between Promising Young Woman and Saltburn, very, very good visual sense. She can craft an image really effectively. I really appreciate the way that her movies look. I think that she just... I was initially very excited for this announcement for Wuthering Heights because it's a work that already exists. She's adapting something. She doesn't have to write the work originally. I take issue more with her writing than I do her directing. But we're already off to a start here where it seems like she's going to infuse this adaptation with as many Emerald Fennelisms as she possibly can. And I'm not looking forward to it. I do love Margot Robbie, and maybe more will come out about this movie that I'm excited about. But this isn't it so far. This isn't good. This is not good. I do not look forward to it. But maybe something changes. Maybe something evolves. Maybe there's an announcement that somebody else will write the adaptation. That would be cool. But I doubt it. Emerald Fennel seems to take hold of these sorts of things, and to each their own. That is what it is. But, yeah, like I said, love Margot Robbie. And I like Jacob Elordi. I really enjoyed him in Priscilla. I thought he was really, really good there. Frankly, I thought he was good in Saltburn. Him and Barry Keoghan were far from the problem of Saltburn. But, yeah, it's all right. Fine. Fuck it. But the last casting announcement that I am excited for, and this is fun because it's not a IP, and it's not based off a book or anything that I've already heard of. This is brand new original work from an original director, from a great actor, and I'm so excited. Josh O'Connor joins writer-director Kelly Reichardt for Mubi's latest production, The Mastermind, shooting later this year, which is apparently it's basically a heist film set during the Vietnam War. An art heist film, if I recall correctly, based around the Vietnam War, which is a fucking awesome premise. And Josh O'Connor is a fucking awesome actor. I absolutely love him in La Chimera and in Challengers. He's awesome. And Kelly Reichardt directed Certain Women, who, I mean, that movie is fucking incredible. I need to watch more Kelly Reichardt movies, but that's the only one I needed to see to be like, oh, I love me some Kelly Reichardt. And I hope I'm saying her name right. I apologize if it's Reichardt or Reichardt. But yeah, she's an incredible writer-director, and this was music to my ears. I love Josh O'Connor. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite actors working. If you have not watched La Chimera, please do. There's few movies from this year, maybe no movie this year that I find more visually a breath of fresh air than La Chimera. That movie is fucking beautiful to look at. It's wonderfully performed. It's got a beautiful score. It's super well directed. That's Alicia Rohrwacher there, and that's a really, really good movie. And I mean, Challengers is still my favorite movie of the year, but that's for a lot more than just Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor he doesn't carry La Chimera by any means, but he is the lead in La Chimera. He's not really splitting that status with Zendaya and Mike Feist, but Yeah, no, I love me some Josh O'Connor, and this movie is very instantly between this and Sinners. I've got a couple of my most anticipated movies of 2025 already between The Mastermind and Sinners. Those are top of the pops for me. So looking forward to that. And now, before we get into some other announcements, let's do the coming out of some of the film festivals, coming out of Venice and TIFF and stuff. Things have been acquired. Movies have been bought and are ready to be distributed, such as Queer and The Brutalist, two of the movies that from these film festivals left me the most excited. Now, they have both been acquired by A24, which is not great news for people who want to see this movie as soon as possible. A24 kind of blows at distribution. They always release things in select theaters. Select theaters. It will be available in select theaters. It's like 7 movie theaters whenever they do that. New York and Los Angeles, and they're like, fuck everybody else. You'll see it in 3 months, 4 months, something like that. Hopefully that's not the case here. But it's looking like Queer is going to hit select theaters on November 27th, and The Brutalist will hit select theaters on December 20th. Which I would love to be able to go see these movies. I would love to be able to go see these movies right when they come out. Seems very unlikely. Seems extremely unlikely. And that sucks, man. I want A24 to do what Neon's doing. Neon is good. Neon knows how to distribute a fucking movie, man. Look at the success of Longlegs earlier this year, Immaculate earlier this year. They're promoting the shit out of Anora. You know, A24, they just kind of fumble their way into they're riding on reputation. You know, the people. You know, I love A24 films. There's so many A24 films. What do you mean by that? You know, but I'm hoping that this. Maybe I'm being a cynic about this. Maybe these will reach theaters by the end of the year. At least Queer. There's no way I see The Brutalist before 2025, since it's getting a December 20th release date in select theaters. But hopefully, with a month to spare, maybe Queer will reach my AMC or my art house. I would love that. But I'm not betting on it. And regardless, we'll see, I suppose. But yeah, next up, we got a couple legendary directors on the docket. And I'll start with the bad news. Martin Scorsese's Jesus movie and Frank Sinatra biopic have been indefinitely postponed. There was plans to shoot both movies back-to-back this year, but that will no longer happen. And that really blows. Granted, he did give us one of the most poignant works of the last decade in Killers of the Flower Moon most recently, and that was a huge, massive movie. You know, he can take all the time in the world he wants to make his next picture. He said he wants to do something more intimate, something smaller, and he wants to consistently do stuff that's smaller. And frankly, neither of those sound particularly small. So hopefully it's just a matter of choice for Marty. I hope that's the case. You know, the Frank Sinatra biopic's a little bit more complicated. You know, it's up to Sinatra's family whether or not they allow that biopic. You know, it's up to the estate, which, you know, the movie was going to be based around Frank Sinatra leaving Nancy Sinatra for Ava Gardner and his time with Ava Gardner, and Frank Sinatra's estate is controlled by Nancy Sinatra's daughter. And so, like, it's just like, yeah, that's a tough sell. That's a tough sell. And having known the prideful gentleman that Frank Sinatra was, there's a chance that movie wouldn't depict him in the most positive of lights. And, you know, maybe the family wants to avoid that. And who knows? I'm just speculating here. But that's fine. That movie, I wasn't, you know, I'm excited. I was excited for it. It's Martin Scorsese. You know, it was Leo. It was apparently Leo DiCaprio was going to be Sinatra. Jennifer Lawrence was going to be Ava Gardner. That's an exciting cast. So that is a little disappointing that is postponed indefinitely. But the highlight here for me is the Jesus movie getting postponed. That sucks, man. I was really looking forward to this. I thought that we had something a nice. Spiritual sequel to The Last Temptation of Christ, which is a fantastic movie, and I cannot recommend highly enough if you have not watched it. Willem Dafoe as Jesus Christ, fucking great movie. But yeah, that movie, there were no names attached to it or anything like that, but it looked like it was going to come together. It's looking like it's not going to anymore. Maybe these come back around, but if not, no big deal. Martin Scorsese is a brilliant, brilliant mind in film. So if he's putting these aside to do something else, whatever the something else is well worth it. And it is what it is. But the good news on these legendary directors side of things is that Brian De Palma is planning a new feature and casting will take place soon. That's super exciting. I was worried I'd never get to see another Brian De Palma movie because I've only recently gotten into his movies. You know, I love Phantom of the Paradise. Blowout is a brilliant movie. If you have not watched Blowout, you have to watch Blowout. John Travolta, it's super good. But so, you know, and I watched Scarface a couple years back, and I wish I need to give that another shot because I appreciate Al Pacino a lot more. I appreciate Brian De Palma a lot more. I'm sure that movie would resonate with me a lot better this time around than it did that time. But regardless, there's very few details about this. It was just an interview recently. Someone asked him if we can count on another movie, and he said yes. He is planning a new feature. Casting will happen soon. And that's just incredibly, incredibly exciting because this is he's one of the greats. You know, whether you like it or not, he's amongst those names that you know, of a generation with the Spielbergs and the Scorseses and the Coppolas and those guys. I feel like De Palma belongs right there. He's that good. So I cannot wait for that. That is something that I'm looking forward to greatly. Cannot wait for that. And with that, I can move to some potential news. It's hard to say. You know, we've been talking the last couple weeks about the Insider and the scoopers and the sort of like nature of, yeah, it's worth talking about. Don't know if it's true. We've got something from Daniel RPK this week. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt. It's Daniel RPK, said some stuff that's right, but he's arguably even more than the Insider, said a lot of stuff that's not true. So, according to Daniel RPK, the Mandalorian and Grogu film will reportedly conclude Din Djarin's story. There won't be a Season 4 of The Mandalorian, but the character will appear in other Star Wars projects. This is not far off from what I expected of this movie, so this is one of those things where I'd be willing to guarantee this is true. The part that is surprising is that there won't be a Season 4 of The Mandalorian, which I was pretty sure was going to happen. Now, I don't think it's a loss. This story should have ended at the end of Season 2. I've been very, very adamant about that for years now. So, like, I do think that if they had any backbone, the story would have ended after Season 2. But, you know, they wanted the money, so they made Season 3. They're going to make this movie, and I can't blame them. Mandalorian is consistently the most popular show on their platform by, like, a lot. It is what it is. They think that'll convert into box office success. Maybe so. I don't have a lot of faith that that's true. I worry about this being the first Star Wars film that's going to hit theaters. That does concern me. I don't think that this movie will be the success Disney thinks it's going to be, and I'll be glad to eat my words there. But it does concern me for what future Star Wars movies would look like after a flop from one of their most successful Disney Plus shows. Not that I'm saying that it will flop, but I don't see a sequel to a Disney Plus series performing at the box office like that. I just don't, you know, and it's tough. I don't know what to expect there, but I do know that again, I like Pedro Pascal. I do like The Mandalorian, and I love Lil Grogu, but we'll see here. You know, this is another one of those things where I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is, and with that, I will take us on in to my reviews of the week. And now, since Joe's not here, I will start with Agatha All Along, and then I will move to the movies. Agatha All Along episode 3 came out earlier this week, and it was another fine. It was fine. You know, it was fun. You know, I loved the playfulness of the trials that they're doing. Love me some Deborah Jo Rupp. I think she's fucking hysterical. Catherine Hahn's very funny. The Patti LuPone is the easy highlight for me in lieu of Aubrey Plaza not being in this episode. I'm hoping she comes back around soon because she's kind of the main selling point for me. I do love Catherine Hahn though, so like, you know, it was another fun episode. We got the first canonical mention of Mephisto, if I'm not mistaken, which I know is going to tickle Joseph's heart a little bit. He's going to love that. But yeah, so it was fine. It's another example of a show that's fine. It's not bad. It's not terrible. The script's still pretty fucking bad. The screenplays, I mean, unbelievable sometimes listening to these actors have to deliver some of the stuff they're delivering. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Maybe I'm missing the point there. I did say last week that there's some like they're definitely going for an elevated, stylized version of dialogue and what that fits within their whole vibe. I don't think it's working though. There are examples where I do think it works, but those are few and far in between. And regardless, I think that this show's fun. It's fun, and it's continuing to be fun. I thought this episode lost a few of its most exciting elements that the first couple episodes featured, so I think it's a distinct step down from the 2-episode premiere, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. So yeah, Agatha All Along episode 3 was fine. I will keep watching. You know, that is the important thing. But next up, I went and saw a movie in theaters, and I watched a Netflix original movie this week. And I watched a Prime original this week. Was neither here nor there. That movie wasn't very anything. Killer Heat on Amazon Prime, though. I watched that yesterday. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Richard Madden, Shailene Woodley. Fun, private detective, neo-noir. Leans into the melodrama, pastiche of that whole narrative device. So it's a fun movie. It's fine. It was worth my time. But regardless, that's not what I'm reviewing today. What I did go see in theaters was The Substance, starring Margaret Qualley, Demi Moore, and Dennis Quaid. And this has been hyped up for me ever since Cannes. The Cannes Film Festival made this seem like the reception it got at Cannes made this seem like it was going to blow my fucking mind. It won Best Screenplay at Cannes. It was talked about as potentially getting the Palme d'Or, and you know I respect that immensely. I respect the people who said those sorts of things, and I think that this movie is fucking incredible. I think it's really, really good looking. There's something so beautiful about the way it's shot. The sound design is fucking visceral. This movie is not for the squeamish. If you feel like vomiting at the sight of blood, yeah, no, not for you, not for you. There's not a ton of blood, but there's enough blood to where it's like, in the way it's used, nah, you know, like I'm on the squeamish side, not so much that it'll make me sick, but it was tough, you know. And this is one of those things where I wouldn't normally go see this type of movie in theaters. I've been trying to branch out. I usually don't go see horror movies in theaters. I'm not big on body horror, which is what The Substance. I knew The Substance was body horror. But I've got AMC stubs, A-list. I get 3 free movies a week. I'm gonna fucking use them. The Substance got a lot of hype, and I was excited for it. I do think that I wouldn't appreciate this movie as much as I do if I'd watched it at home. I think that a movie theater screen was necessitated for me to feel the ramifications of the story at hand. I think it's a wonderful story. It's devastating. It's sad. It's funny as fuck sometimes. It's like I said, visceral. It's just oof. And Dennis Quaid delivers a really, really strong supporting actor performance to my deep displeasure. I do not like Dennis Quaid, but regardless, he's good in it. Demi Moore is one of my favorite leads of the year, and Margaret Qualley continues to be one of my favorite young stars in Hollywood. Between Drive Away Dolls and this year, she's just and Kinds of Kindness. Damn, she's on one. She's doing well. I like her a lot. And yeah, Demi Moore, I think that there's something really, really powerful about her performance. Dennis Quaid is fucking disgusting in this movie. He's just just terrible, awful. Don't suspect he had to act a ton. But yeah, I love this cartoony other world it kind of occupies. It's still based on a lot of real world ideology and misogyny, but it's elevated in a way, and it really, really works for the movie. And I think that there's a lot to like there. So if you can go catch it on the big screen, you should go catch it on the big screen. The substance is more than worth your time, and like I said, beautiful to look at. The score, the sound, it deserves the theater treatment, or else I don't think it'll resonate quite the way it's supposed to. The ending's fucking wild. I saw a lot of people say that the last 30 minutes had them on the edge of their seat. It didn't have me on my seat any more than the rest of the movie did. The rest of the whole movie is that good. So like, I don't know. I think that it's a strong. In fact, the ending, I didn't like the ending as much as I liked the rest of the movie, and it seems that I'm kind of in a minority there. It seems like a lot of people loved the ending. The ending's fine to me, but it's kind of getting there that was the exciting part. Maybe you'll see what I mean. Maybe you'll disagree. Maybe you love the ending. Who knows? But you should absolutely go see The Substance. Then the other movie I watched this week, the new movie on Netflix, His Three Daughters, starring Carrie Coon, Elizabeth Olsen, and Natasha Lyonne, directed by Azazel Jacobs. I've been watching a lot of stuff, I mentioned, Agatha All Along, The Witches, fantasy, The Substance, sci-fi, body horror. I've been watching The Godfather, mafia, crime, and, there's relatability to be found within those things, but I don't directly relate to any of it, and it doesn't feel like I'm not worried about any of it happening to me. I'm not going to find myself on the witch's road. I'm not going to inject myself with something that tears my body apart. I'm not worried about a mafia crime boss gunning me down in the street. That's not stuff I'm worried about. Stuff that I am worried about, and that is real and is a tangible fear to me, is losing a parent. And His Three Daughters really, really occupies a real, raw, tender reality. Sorry to go with real at the beginning and end it with reality. This movie is incredibly intimate. The story of these three sisters taking care of their ailing father as he is ready to greet the beyond, as it were, kind of there with him in his last days. And them kind of resolving their relationship and trying to figure out what comes next, what connects them when he's gone, and what is there, what else is there, for them. It's a really, really affecting movie. It made me cry a whole lot. It made me sob for the last, probably the last 15 minutes, but I cried for like 5 minutes into the credits. Like, it got me. It got me good. Natasha Lyonne. I am a huge, massive Natasha Lyonne fan. There are very few actresses that I love more unabashedly than Natasha Lyonne. She's kind of in this tier with there are those that I like. They've been in the movies that I love watching. So like Michelle Yeoh, I love Michelle Yeoh. She's probably my favorite actress of all time. Carrie Fisher played Princess Leia Organa, and she did When Harry Met Sally and all that. So I love those movies she's in. I loved me some Carrie Fisher. Emma Stone, incredible. She's in Poor Things. But there are a few others that I just kind of love, who have never been the star. They've never been the A-lister. And I've been talking about her on The Penguin. Kristen Milioti and Natasha Lyonne are kind of that for me. I fucking love them. They're probably top 5 favorite actresses for me. I adore them. And Natasha Lyonne came through hard on this movie. She is incredible. She's not really playing against type by any means. None of them are. I think that's something that's really, really impressive about this movie is that it is perfectly cast. Natasha Lyonne is kind of playing who you expect she's going to be playing, but I think she's playing it better than she ever really has. I really, really enjoy her in Russian Doll. I think that Russian Doll is probably the other candidate for her playing this role at the highest high of her career. But yeah, she is deeply affecting. There's a lot of internal conflict that happens there, a lot of stuff that she doesn't express in words, that she's incapable of expressing in words, that you see drawn on her face, and that's awesome. And this movie's a lot more fresh for me. I watched this last night. I watched The Substance 5 days ago. So if it sounds like I'm going on His Three Daughters a little bit more, it's because I'm more capable to. I literally watched this less than 12 hours ago. Elizabeth Olsen, she's an actress that I'm fascinated by, because I don't think she's as good as she seems, which is a funny way to put it. She's not as good as a lot of people seem to think she is either. But she's by no means bad. I don't want to say that, but a lot of people like to make her out as like one of the finest actresses working today, and I just don't entirely agree with that. She's done some really, really strong work, but it's all kind of there's a sameness to it, and not in the way that Natasha Lyonne has a sameness to her. It's just kind of there's a sameness to Elizabeth Olsen's performances in an uninteresting way, and this, ironically enough, plays on that in a way that makes it subvert your expectation of her. She plays a character that is, really put together, and she's trying her best to be the middleman between her sisters who fight a lot, Carrie Coon and Natasha Lyonne. She's trying her best to be the peacemaker, the devil's advocate, sort of, at times. She's trying to be the middle ground. But whenever that facade falls and she lets the realness come through, that's when you're like, oh, okay, I see. And I appreciate Elizabeth Olsen a lot in that role. But if Natasha Lyonne's not the highlight almost certainly has to be Carrie Coon. The thing that really strikes me about all three of these characters is that they're very real people. I know these people, and I often, I'm only 24, so I can't really speak to this, but stereotypically, if I were to encounter a person like Carrie Coon's character in this movie, I would not like them. I would not like them at all. I would think that they are annoying. I would think that they are controlling. Karen comes to mind to a degree. But the movie obviously does an intensely good job at humanizing her. And it made me realize, I'm a young guy who has not experienced the woes of life and does not have kids and does not know what more there is that can make a person like that, And I feel like this movie does a good job at depicting what makes a person like that. And I think it does an even better job at depicting the fact that once you are like that, you don't have to be like that, And I think that that's I think that that's really good. But it's like once you are like that, do your best to love through it. Is kind of she's bitter. She's really bitter. And there's kind of there's tangible reasons, but it's just kind of like, there's got to be something more here. There's got to be something more to you than this bitterness. And watching her try to discover it was really, really strong. And Carrie Coon did a fantastic job at performing it. It was really, really tight narratively. It had one of the most massive gut punches of the year. Just like one of those moments where I'm watching and I go, I gasp a little and then tears fall down my face. And it's not exactly unpredictable, which is what a gut punch entails, but the way it kind of wears on you, you go, oh, well, this, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but like it wears on you in a way where you're like, oh, maybe this is happening. Maybe this is good. And then it oof. God damn, there's a really strong moment there. But it's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful movie with a beautiful cast, some beautiful performances, beautifully written. It's a gorgeous movie to look at. Not like one of my favorite looking movies of the year by any stretch, but it is really, really elegantly shot. It's very tight, very intimate. Like I said, it's shot intimately. It is. It's written intimately. It's performed intimately. It's an intimate movie, really tender and raw, and I appreciate that. So His Three Daughters and The Substance are both top 10 movies on the year for me. His Three Daughters actually premiered at TIFF a year ago at Toronto International Film Festival in September of 2023 and didn't get released until September 2024. So I'm glad we finally got our hands on it. I'm glad I got to watch it. It's deeply affecting, and if you are into a movie that is going to make you cry, that's a really, really good one to choose. So His Three Daughters and The Substance both ended up being top 10 movies on the year for me. 9 and 10, to be perfectly clear. His Three Daughters and then The Substance. You know, the stuff that makes me cry will always go ahead of the stuff that makes me go, "Ugh," even if the stuff that makes me go, "Ugh," is really exciting, which The Substance was. But yeah, with that, I will get on into sports. All right, so week 3 came and went. It was fucking awful for me. If you are an avid listener, you will note that I had a terrible week. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 wins. 6 wins. Okay, but that means 10 losses. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10 losses. That's rough. That's rough by any measure. That's a rough fucking week. Going 6 and 10. It does bring me to 25 and 23 on the year. I am still above 500. In fact, I'm 26 and 23 after last night's Thursday night game. I did pick the Cowboys over the Giants, and they managed to win by 5 points when the over-under was 5.5. How Vegas does it, I don't fucking know. But I'm not betting on over-unders or on money lines. So I'm good. I did pick the Cowboys. The Cowboys won, and that's good enough for me. So we've got another good week ahead, and I'm excited to do some picks for you. There was some stuff that you just couldn't have expected last week. The Giants won, which, you know, who's going to predict that? The Saints offense finally shut the fuck down right when I decided to pick them for sure, no doubt. The Steelers are one of the only 3-0 teams left, which is wild to me. The 3-0 teams left going into next week are insane. The Vikings, the Steelers, the fucking Seahawks, I'm pretty sure, are undefeated. Like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I don't know. There's just some stuff that so far this season could not have been predicted. The Panthers trotted out Andy Dalton, and he managed to go fucking crazy for them. I feel bad for Bryce Young, but, you know, damn. Frankly, it's on Panthers management. Andy Dalton should have been starting the last 2 seasons, and you should have been letting Bryce Young train under a veteran there. I don't know. It's fucking idiotic that they were trotting him out there. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not the coach. The Rams beat the 49ers. I don't know. I don't know why I picked the Jags over the Bills. That's fucking stupid. I'm never picking the Jags again. They're apparently hot ass. The Commanders and Bengals. Who knew Jaden McDaniels would throw more touchdowns than incompletions as a rookie? I didn't. So, you know, I feel like I've got some good excuses. But no, I went 6 and 10. Rough week. I'm off to a 1-0 start in week 4. I'm 3-1 on the year on Thursday Night Football. So far, Thursday nights, I'm doing pretty well. Hopefully that maintains. But let's see. Week 4, we start with the Saints at the Falcons. And the Falcons have been interesting. You know, obviously the Saints have been just explosive offensively. And they kind of slowed down with the Eagles. They slowed down with the Eagles last week. Are they due for a bounce back? Do they go in on the Falcons? This is a rivalry game. But I think that means the Falcons will be on their best behavior. I think they've got something to prove after barely losing to Kansas City, which obviously I was very happy about, but the internet has a lot to say. I'm going Falcons. I'm going Falcons at home against the Saints. I think that's a fair bet. The Bengals at the Panthers. The Bengals looked like shit. They didn't look like shit. They looked fine. They just couldn't defend the Commanders for shit. And the Panthers looked good, but what are we to believe that? It's against the Raiders. You know, Is that reliable? I don't know. I don't know. I hate the fucking Bengals though, so I'm gonna go with the Panthers. Fuck the Bengals. I don't like them. I don't like them, and I've never been passionately against a team, but seeing Bengals fans online has made me fucking bitter. I despise you. I despise the Bengals, man. Fuck the Bengals. I've never been anti other teams, even when I'm obviously very pro Chiefs. I'm from Kansas City. But seeing the way Cincinnati fans fucking hate Kansas City makes me fucking hate Cincinnati. So, I'm going with the Panthers. Fuck you. And then next, Rams at Bears. Oh man, I want the Bears to be good. I do, but they're seemingly not. Which blows. I really like them, and I want them to be good, but they just don't look it. They just don't look it right now. They've got a ways to go. Caleb Williams is very much so a rookie quarterback. I'm going with the Rams. I got to go with the Rams there. Vikings at Packers. I'm going Vikings. I think they maintain their undefeated status. The Packers have been, solid this year. They've been solid. By no means have they been bad. Malik Willis has been a surprisingly adept starter for them, but he's come up against the Titans, and he's come up against who did they face in Week 2? The Colts. So, not the highest ranking opponents to be coming up against. So I think the Vikings will be the first ones to give Malik Willis trouble. And who knows, maybe Jordan Love is back and active as the starter. I haven't seen anything about that. But regardless, I think if it's Jordan Love's first week back, he's going to have a rough time. And I think if it's Malik Willis's third week, the Vikings are a better team. So I'm gonna go Vikings regardless. Jags at Texans. The Jags fucking suck. It's more clear than ever, and I'm sorry that I've picked the Jags a couple times this season. I don't know what I was doing. Texans for sure. Steelers at Colts. I'm going Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to lock this one down again. I think they are going to advance to 4-0, which, again, I would not have expected that of the Vikings and Steelers, but here I am picking them to go 4-0. It just seems likely to me. The Colts offense can be explosive, but Anthony Richardson makes some stupid fucking mistakes, and that's exactly what Mike Tomlin's Steelers are good at capitalizing on. They're good at capitalizing on your mistakes, so I think the Steelers are good there. Broncos at Jets. The Broncos did come out and give the Bucs some problems last week. Bo Nix had a hell of a game on the ground, but I just don't think they're going to beat the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be they're going to be a tall order for them, to say the least. So I think the Jets move to 3-1 on the year. Let's see, Eagles at Bucs. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think that the Bucs, they started out hot, but I think they're cooling down. I think the Eagles' defense started out slow, and they're heating up. After locking down the Saints a bit last week, and their concerns against the Falcons being their defense, I think that their defense has a lot to prove, and I think that they know that every week, and I think they are going to consistently try to shine. And I think that's what's most important for Philadelphia. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. Commanders at Cardinals. Man, you really want to go Commanders after Jaden McDaniels puts on a performance like that. Is it McDaniels or is it Jaden Daniels? I can never remember. It might just be Daniels. Am I being a fucking buffoon right now? Yep, just Jaden Daniels. My bad. I don't know why I've been saying McDaniels. Jaden Daniels, you want to go with him. You want to bet on him. He had a huge fucking game. I think he's bound to come back down to earth. Maybe not have a bad game, but just have a normal game, because last week was fucking insane. And I think that will be enough for the Cardinals to come out on top. I think Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, and his young core, his good offense, will come up really strong against a really not very great secondary. So I think the Cardinals are a good bet there. Patriots at 49ers. I'm going to go 49ers. Patriots just aren't. They're not all that. And the 49ers seem to be. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. Sadly, Christian McCaffrey seems to be out for another couple months after seeing that Achilles tendonitis specialist in Germany. So that blows, but I think that their offense is more than capable beyond him. I think the more pressing concern is Trent Williams. Is he Is he officially out this week? I know he went down with an injury last week. Let's see. Their left tackle. Okay, Trent Williams is a full participant, so he'll be back, which is good. That's very good for the 49ers. So I am definitely going 49ers. Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs, don't really need to elaborate there. I'm going with the Chiefs. We're going to 4-0, baby. Let's go. Browns at Raiders. The Raiders. I don't like the Browns. Yeah, not a Browns guy. Not a Deshaun Watson guy. Fucking hate that guy. So I'll go with the Raiders. Bills at Ravens. Now, this is a fucking tough one. The Bills looked fucking unbelievable this last week. Just absurd. Now, the Ravens, they have a lot. They have to claw back. You know, they're 1-2 right now, which is, it's a tough place to start the season. They're 1-2. They need to get going. This is a tough one. I don't know. Bills are solid, man. The Bills are solid, but they're going to Baltimore. It's not a very far distance. It's not a very big travel time. Let's see where they were in week 3. Week 3, the Bills were at home. Okay. Baltimore was in Oakland, if I'm not mistaken. No, Baltimore was in Dallas. They beat Dallas. Okay. This is a tough one. I've got Ravens written down. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Have I picked the Bills at all this season? Let me check on that. Okay, week 3 I did not pick the Bills. Week 1 I did pick the Bills and I got it right. Okay, week 2 I did not pick the Bills. It looks like. Where are you? Who did they face week 2? Sorry about this. Okay, they were Thursday night, and I picked the Dolphins. Okay. So I've picked them once, and they won. I've picked against them twice, and they won. Feels wrong to keep betting against them, because I have also picked the Ravens. I think I've picked the Ravens twice, and they lost both weeks. And then when I picked against them, they won. That doesn't help me at all. Okay. You know what? I'm going to bet on the Ravens. I think they moved to 2-2. I think that they've got a lot to prove. I think that they're going to give the Bills what appears to be their first loss of the season. I didn't realize the Bills were still undefeated. Although I like the Bills. I don't know. This is tough. This would be a pick 'em for me. I would not put money on this if I was a betting man. But damn, this is tough. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Bills. Never mind. I'm going Bills. I've bet against them too much. I'm not doing it again. Fuck it. Then Monday night, we've got a couple of boring-ass games. We've got the Titans versus the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Titans. The Dolphins look like shit right now. We've got the Seahawks at the Lions. I think the Lions hand the Seahawks their first loss of the season. And you know what? I'm going back on my Sunday night pick. I'm going Ravens. Sorry. I know that I've been really back and forth on that. Maybe I should be the Bills, but there's too many undefeated teams right now. And I'm not wrong. The Bills are undefeated, right? Week 3, they faced the Jags. They beat the Jags. Week 2, they faced the Dolphins and beat the Dolphins. Week 1, they faced the Cardinals and beat the Cardinals. Yeah, they're undefeated. There's too many undefeated teams right now. I think we eliminate a couple of them. I think the Bills lose, and I think that the Seahawks lose. And I stand by that. So, and then week 5, Thursday night, Bucks at Falcons. I'm going with the Falcons. I think they're set. I think they're good. The Bucks, I think, are coming down to earth a bit. So, yeah, with that, I conclude sports and this episode of the Penny Bloom Dispatch. If you are listening later in the week, there might be something after this with Joseph talking science and stuff. I don't know. We're hoping to reconvene whenever he's feeling better and kind of record something for him real quick. I would like to do that anyway, and I hope that he's feeling up for it within the next couple days. If that does happen and I'm signing off here, mind your fucking business. No, I'm just playing. It's no big deal. But yeah, so if this isn't goodbye, it isn't goodbye. But it is what it is. I might do a whole other sign off too. But if you would, head to patreon.com/pennybloom.pod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. For $1.50 a month, you can support the podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod for updates on anything we might be doing. We've got a lot going on, and that is where we kind of dispatch everything from. We've got, Death by Television on Mondays. This past Monday, we covered the series premiere of The Penguin, and episode 2 comes out this Sunday. We'll be covering that on Monday, so you can be there Monday nights on Death by Television. We've got Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. We're currently rewatching season 2 of Rebels ahead of Skeleton Crew. You can go check that out. Let's see. The Cinementalists is excruciatingly close to starting. We are nearly there. We've only got a little bit of a ways to go. Yeah, we're getting there, and I'll, me and my dad will be recording a podcast this Sunday. We got him a new mic, so all of our audio issues should be gone, which is cool. I'm very, very glad with that, and that'll be something to look forward to. So if you have been tuning in for that, the Robertsons on Mondays. It'll probably might be Sunday this week. Who knows? Sundays or Mondays. You got something to look forward to there. And I'll be back next week. Today is the release day of Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola's new picture. The Wild Robot came out. I'm going to go see My Old Ass with Aubrey Plaza in it. So a lot of movies that I'm going to catch, and that's a lot of movies that I'm probably going to review next Friday here on the Penny Bloom Dispatch. So be here. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson, and remember, peace, love, and bloom. And Joseph, I miss you so much. Come back to me, please.